Welcome here at Ethan Chats. My name is Ethan Berry, and today our guest is Steve Singleton. He is the Chief Investment Officer of SPI Strategies, and he's also the Executive Vice President Director of Equities at Blaylock VAN LLC. How you doing, Steve?
Doing well, doing well. Glad to be here.
Thanks for coming. I know you're a busy man, and time is money.
It was my pleasure. My pleasure.
Appreciate it. I'd like to just start off and just find out a little bit about yourself. How did you get into investment banking?
Well, I think for me it was I got here through a combination of math and economics and finance. Back in college, I was a math major and an economics major down at Claremont in Southern California. Okay. And so when I came out, I was looking for an opportunity to have the ability to use both of those disciplines in the same profession, and the financial markets was the perfect place for that.
Absolutely. That's where all the money is, right?
Well, it certainly is a considerable amount of money in the global financial markets, no doubt about it.
The thing that's interesting to me, when we've had many conversations, but one of the conversations that we've had really touched me about how you would like to give back to the community in ways that are going to be beneficial to the students so that they can have better opportunities. Not many people have that. Well, I won't say that. Probably a lot of people have that same sentiment, but not many people have put it into action. What can you share with us about what motivates you?
Well, I think, from my perspective, coming through school and coming through, I grew up in Oakland. I went to Oakland Public Schools. I went to Oakland Public High School. I had friends of all walks, but particularly had a number of friends that are African American. And the thing that is that everybody has capabilities. Everybody is competitively oriented in our society, but not everybody has access, for whatever reasons, to the same types of tools and industry that I've had over my long career. And so really what it comes down to is looking for ways perhaps to look backwards and say, okay, how can we take what is sort of the basics of what I've learned over a number of years and been able to apply in the trades that I have undertaken, and bring others along. Just if nothing else, to just show them what it is so that they can understand it and see what it is. Yeah.
Exposure. I mean, that's one of the conversations we had. I mean, because a lot of times kids don't know why they need to learn certain things in school. They don't know how it applies to their ability to make a living wage. They don't know how it applies to them being, able to travel and experience different things in their life, or the quality of life. But when you show them, they get it.
Right. Absolutely.
One of the programs that we're working on now is we're trying to have kids from middle school through high school actually be at a company and be mentored by a worker at the company on every aspect of that worker's job, whether they work in HR, customer service, sales, marketing, engineering. It doesn't matter. There are all types of different types of careers that are jobs that student scholars can get into, but they first have to learn the basics, to read, write, and do math. And it's, from my experience working with the public school districts in the Bay Area, that's been one of their biggest problems, really just trying to get that that middle core group to be successful, raising them up to be able to reach the bar so that they would be prepared for advanced learning, because everything starts with what you learn in elementary school. If you don't learn how to read, write, and do math with comprehension and understanding by the time you're third, fifth grade, it tends to follow you, and then you end up doing remedial courses, and then you get discouraged and you kind of give up. One of the things, being an investment banker, math, as you stated already, was one of your core subject matters that you learned in school and in college. Were there many, obstacles for you in terms of learning math?
Not for me particularly, because math was a subject that always, came fairly easy to me, and it was something that I enjoyed. I think just by its nature and what it is, and the kind of person I am, I've always been a problem solver, so I'm always thinking about the problem and trying to figure out ways to solve it. And so I think that suits being drawn to mathematics quite well. And so, that's it. And there are a number of kids that are like that. And then there are still more that are actually problem solvers in their own right, but don't quite know how to translate it to mathematics.
Right.
And I think that, there are ways to bring the two together so that they can sort of understand that.
I think you mentioned one of those ways is to expose them to the opportunities that are out there, that math has to be a part of their, arsenal of weapons or skill sets.
It clearly
what do you think
does.
about that?
Yeah, no, I'd say it clearly does. I think that, math is extraordinarily important, certainly in today's society. I think it always has been, but certainly in today's society, because it's got far-reaching tentacles into everything. And everything that we do.
Absolutely.
And particularly even more so as everything about our economy and our way of life becomes more computerized and even robotized. And so I think that if you are someone that understands math and understands the computational sciences, you remove some of the mystery around it that can tend to intimidate, right? And now you actually feel like you can conquer it and therefore dictate how it's going to work with regards to how you run your life.
Actually make it work for you.
Absolutely.
I think one of the questions that I wanted to ask you was, as you were going through college and your career, can you share with us an obstacle that you had to overcome that was seemingly, difficult? Because a lot of kids think things are just given to them, and they don't understand they have to work for it. So I'm trying to get that message clear.
Yeah, I think that, for anything and with anything, it's all going to come with hard work, no matter what discipline anybody chooses. And certainly, I had my obstacles along the way, and a lot of it's with, trying to make sure you understand, the subject matter. I had, courses, particularly in college, where, out of the gate, it was moving faster than I was moving.
Right.
And, but you just keep hanging in there and fighting with it and looking to solve the problems, and you catch up, but that's where, either you have the passion for it, right,
Bingo.
and sort of the excitement for it, and you're like, I'm going to get this.
Right.
Or you don't, and then you kind of step away from it and say, well, I'm not going to get this. And that can become unfortunate when you choose the latter. And so I think that where, and that can happen for anybody at any age, but where there are places where there are mentor programs so things like that can happen. And we've got a number of those here in the Bay Area and certainly in the East Bay. The folks out at EOYDC, they do some really nice things there.
Absolutely.
Regina Jackson and her group, the Hidden Genius folks, Brandon Nicholson and his group, they do some really great things in terms of, again, trying to demystify, what all of this is and empower everyone to understand that, yes, you can do this. You have to want to do it. You have to want to do it. I can't want to do it for you. Right. You have to want to do it. But if you do, there are resources here available, right, so that we can all win.
And that is kind of like the intersection of everything for us, because working with the students that are in, I'll just use Oakland Unified School District because that's who we're working with the most right now. It is a situation where a lot of parents and their children, student scholars, don't know the resources that are available to them. So where it used to be the resources didn't exist, that did happen at one point in time. The resources are now there. And so what we're trying to do is have, talk shows like this with, people from the community who are, enterprise, entrepreneurs and, movers and shakers and stakeholders of the community that can share some positive outlooks for the students so that they can understand that there is a reason you need to learn these things so that you can make money. A lot of people think that entertainers or athletes, same thing to me, are the ones who make the most money, but truth be told, businessmen, scientists, technologists, by far make more multimillionaires than singers, rappers, dancers, etc. Because that industry is so, so small.
Yeah, no. Clearly, if if you're a business owner in one of these key areas, or certainly a technology innovator, you are certainly in the position of being able to create enormous amounts of wealth. And I think that that's important in and of itself. But what's even more important and transformational, I think, is the ability to empower others. That's how we get more from everyone to make a better place from one street, one community at a time, to one city, one country at a time, one world. And so that's the real key to all of this. I think if it's all bottled up so that only a small number of folks know what it is, that's not going to actually move the needle in terms of creating progress globally.
Right, and I think that's a key point, because if it's all bottled up into one umbrella, then that limits the number of people that they can help as well, and that in turn limits the number of success stories that can be told. But if we work together, like our organization is collaborating with Merritt College so that we can help kids matriculate into college, whether they go to a 4-year college or a 2-year college, it doesn't matter so much as to where they go, but that they go and that they are successful in completing that college. And the 2-year college track is usually so that they can get, a foot in the door and start an internship at a company that, otherwise they wouldn't be able to get into at a certain level. And we're talking about more scientists and engineering positions, because they paid the living wage for the majority of pick a city in the United States. If you're in technology or you're in, banking or you're in science, you're gonna make a living wage. And it's that type of mentoring that, takes them from their, high school through their college directly into their career by giving them an internship that we're trying to address. And our hope is to work closely with organizations that cover the rest, work with them from kindergarten to middle school to high school to college. What we've found is that they need that help, that extra help getting into the industries. So for instance, we have a company that we're talking to right now about their internships. And the idea here is to make sure that they hire as many people, young people, as we can prepare. And this is the first time that this particular college is doing this. Is Merritt College. I might as well say the name. It's no mystery or anything. Merritt has a cybersecurity program, and they are literally trying to train kids not to just succeed in their academics, but place them in an internship that is paid, with food, travel, and lodging, so that they get real world experience and they know how the rest of the world operates. Because in getting into those types of internships, they learn a lot of new soft skills, a lot of new communication skills, a lot of new technical skills, because theory is what they learn in college. On the job, theory does not necessarily always unfold. It's real life.
Right. No, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think those partnerships are tremendous, and they're great to be able to, to garner those. Working clearly is something that I think that all young people need to learn how to do.
Right.
So getting a job is really important.
That's the that is the biggest deal in anyone's life, right? Earning your way. And if you don't learn how to do that, it kind of cripples you. Because you don't know how to do things, and a lot of times with the young people that we deal with, sometimes it's kind of a ego thing too. They don't want you to know that they don't know things, and we have to get away from that and just break down those walls of insecurity and just get to the meat of it all. Cut to the chase. What do you need to learn? What do you want to do? Are you happy with what you're doing now, and where do you see yourself in 5, 10, 20 years from now? Those are the types of things that, unless the child, the student scholar, is thinking about, life will creep up on them, and they'll find themselves in their 40s, and it's like, I never thought about that. It's just been like a day-to-day grind just to survive. And so I'd like to know from you, what are some ways that you think can help students who are still in school but need that extra help getting into, like the workforce? Because they don't necessarily have a mentor or someone who can show them the ropes.
Well, again, I'd say that it's sort of threefold. And again, and I'm not as close to the schools as I was when I was there, but what tends to happen, and I've seen in many school environments, is you have the opportunity of doing some work and helping out with teachers, and having the opportunity to be someone designated as a point person that whether it's getting everybody together in terms of how we do our assignments or turn in assignments, that kind of thing, or scheduling how we're going to do mentoring and that kind of thing. It gives somebody the responsibility and the accountability which are those are the two key things, responsibility and accountability, that no matter what it is that you're going to end up doing, those will be the two key items that everybody's going to check you on. Okay, and so it can start as simple as that, and then it moves on from there. Again, I mentioned EOYDC and the program that Regina Jackson has. They do something there that I had never seen before, which is tremendous. They call it cascading mentorship, where the older students are actually mentors to the younger ones, who are mentors to the even younger ones. And it's done in such a way where everything about the environment is set up so that there are like pictures of the oldest ones there when they were your age. Right. So you can see what they look like when they were you, and now you see them as they are today.
So they can really visualize themselves moving into the future and doing things that they may not have thought they could do before.
That is exactly it.
That's a great idea.
And when you see it and you watch it all the way up, and it's all the way into the number of kids that have matriculated through the Oakland Public Schools, have been a part of that program, and are now in college, and they're coming back and doing it as well. And so when you create that, you begin to create that sense of responsibility and accountability that, again, somebody in the workforce is looking for, no matter what the job is, no matter whatever it is that you come to me, whatever it is I ask you to do, if you jump on it and own it, okay, then and I can count on you to own it, then we're good.
Accountability.
That's exactly it.
I mean, the bottom line is accountability. If you can have the passion, the intrinsic motivation enough to just do the work, even if you don't know everything about that particular task or job, ask someone, read up on it, learn as much as you can, get it done, because people watch for accountability. I myself, some of the students that we have, it's like I look for the students who actually do their assignments and turn them in on time, right?
Absolutely.
Because now we can move on to the next level of learning versus the student that comes in and says, I didn't have time. Okay, well, do it now. Let's get it done. What help do you need? That student needs just as much motivation and encouragement to raise them to the level that they need to be as the kid that has already done their homework. But I like the concept that you just elucidated on with EOI DC.
That's right.
Regina
Youth Development
Regina
Center.
Jackson.
That's
We're gonna
right.
have
She
to
runs
get
that.
her
You're going to have to get her in here.
and have a
talk about it.
conversation.
She runs a tremendous program out there.
I'm gonna be calling you, Regina. Those are the very fundamental bedrock of education. I mean, getting kids to be accountable, be responsible for their own work. That's number one. The only reason they go to school is to learn. And somehow that has been contorted into they go to school to have fun. I don't know when that started, but I know when I was going to school.
You try to have a full rounded experience. So it's a combination
It's
of
a
the two.
combination,
But
but
sometimes some people lean one way more than the other, right? You want to have balance. You want to have balance.
You want to have balance because if you have too much fun and you're not doing your homework, then it's gonna cost you in the short and long run. Right. And I have a lot of questions that I want to ask you, but this is just one more burning question. When you look for employees, and this is a specialized industry, right? But when you look for employees, what character traits do you look for in them aside from their, education background?
Passion. Much of what we do really is around discovery, right? Mm-hmm. We're researchers on the side of asset management and the side of research for the broker-dealer. So, I'm looking for somebody who's willing to undertake that challenge, and it's not for the faint of heart because, the answers aren't sitting there on a sheet on the door. No. You're going to have to dig for them. You're going to get sent on, wild goose chases, if you will, mathematically and otherwise. And so the only way you really can be successful is to have the passion for it, right? To be excited at the challenge and the opportunity of solving problems. Without that, I always tell them, you can stack up as many degrees and certifications as you want. I probably would take a pass on you because I don't think you'd be any good at this. So that's
I've had many mentors in my life. I've lived a pretty decent life. I've worked for a few startup companies, and having to wear many hats and be accountable for things, it just comes natural for me. And I think this is why the approach that we're taking is, end to end instead of just, like from cradle to high school or from high school to college or from college to career. I think what we recognize is the need to inculcate kids with positivity, find out what makes them happy, expose them to the things that can allow them to continue in that happiness, and then watch them grow, continue to nurture them and believe in them, even when they don't believe in themselves. And I think that's a kind of a, like you said, a balancing act, because kids want to have fun and you want them to have fun, but you're looking out for their best interests as well. And so you want to make sure that they have that discipline, that passion to make sure that they get their work done before they have fun. And then that way they can continue to have fun. And there's an old saying that is, work hard, play hard, right?
That's it.
that's the life we want to live.
That's it. And ideally, as time goes on, the fun and the work will come together. And when that happens,
it's not working.
You're not
anymore.
even working. That's right.
Even working
That's
anymore.
exactly it. That's where you want to be.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, one thing that I wanted to say is, like, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. I'm just going to summarize what we've been talking about here so that the audience will walk away with the exact information that we're trying to convey. If you have passion, you can achieve anything. All you need to do is ask for help and put the work in. Doesn't mean that you have to give up having fun in life. In fact, if you have passion for something that you can make money, a living wage at, it won't even be work to you.
That's really it.
Thanks,
One more day
Steve.
in your life.
I appreciate it. We'll have you back.
My pleasure.